2 nights ago, Chapter 2. Rainbow Dash briskly flew over the colorful Ponyville houses. Her rainbow tail was waving vigorously as she flew, and her mane was spilled all the way back to her head as well as her ears. The wonders of flying was starting to make her daydream and get off track. This happened a lot when Rainbow was flying. She would daydream of fantastic things. She would daydream about joining the Wonderbolts and soon rising to captain and becoming the most skilled flyer in Equestria. She daydreamed of stunning all of Equestria with her flying talents. She daydreamed of signing countless autographs from eager fans from all over the world. Oh, how the thought of it all thrilled her. How the thought of all that glory excited her, motivated her. It was dreams like these that were Dash's main source of motivation to keep trying to join the Wonderbolts. But unfortunately, Rainbow's motivational daydreams cost her focus. Because she was lost in dreamland, she had wandered off track and was flying around Ponyville aimlessly. She was oblivious to the world around her and paid the price for that. Rainbow Dash's wonderful daydream had been interrupted by her body slamming into contact with a wooden object, specifically her stomach. The impact instantly knocked the breath out of her and made her make a loud gasping sound. It took Dash mere seconds before she realized where she was. She was hanging off of Twilight Sparkle's balcony. So she had basically reached the destination, although not exactly as she planned. Rainbow Dash struggled to breathe. She clumsily stumbled over the small little gate barrier surrounding the balcony and fell on it with her back. Dash's tail twitched as she regained her ability to breathe. She honestly, truly hoped no one had seen her just crash into Twilight's balcony. But she was not so lucky because she suddenly heard the sound of heavy hoofsteps coming into the balcony. "Shit!" Rainbow Dash thought. It was Twilight. The cyan Pegasus began to scramble to get to her hoofs. She fluttered her wings like a hummingbird and managed to get to her hoofs in the least graceful way possible. She swayed a little bit and then looked up at the purple alicorn standing before her. Twilight Sparkle was standing in front of Rainbow Dash, her wings spread slightly and a look of confusion written all over her face. A long and awkward moment of silence fell in between the two ponies. Rainbow tried to put on a smile and act like nothing had just happened. Dash honestly didn't know what was worse, the fact that Twilight Sparkle, a princess, had just seen her crash into her balcony, or that the pain of her illness had returned. The silence was finally broken when Twilight spoke. "You look awful, Rainbow," she said, her face twitching from confusion to concern. "Is everything all right?" Rainbow Dash blinked and sighed tiredly. She was hurting even worse now, and she was starting to feel lightheaded. I'm fine, Twi. Really, it's nothing serious. I'm just feeling a little sick, and I want you to help me find out what's wrong before it gets worse." Twilight Sparkle trotted over to Rainbow Dash and put a hoof on her back. Rainbow instantly felt a burning sensation in her back and gave a small yelp of pain. She sharply looked over her shoulder, trying to see what Twilight was doing back there. And Rainbow was greeted with possibly one of the most horrendous sights she had ever seen. Half of her entire back had a giant, blistery red rash on it that burned like the flames of Celestia. Rainbow began to fear this may be a sickness that could get her doomed to lying in bed. Twilight began circling around Rainbow Dash, inspecting the blue Pegasus. "Give me all of your symptoms," Twilight said calmly. The princess tried to be gentle as she began touching Rainbow Dash's blistered back. Rainbow gritted her teeth in pain but began talking. She needed to tell Twilight everything. Dash knew that. "Well, I feel really sick," she began. Twilight sighed. "No shit," she said, giving Rainbow a slightly teasing smirk. "Be more specific, Rainbow, otherwise I won't be able to help you." And so Rainbow Dash began telling Twilight everything. "I feel feverish, like I have the flu or something." "Are you getting chills?" Twilight interrupted. Rainbow Dash shook her head and then continued talking. "Nope, I just feel really warm and I have a big headache on the side of my head. I think it might be a migraine. Also, my nose has been stuffed, so I can't breathe through it. My entire body is really sore, and whenever I move, it really, really hurts. And then there's that rash thing on my back. That's new, but it's starting to burn now. Twilight was jotting down notes on a notepad as Rainbow talked. She was really organized like that. Is that all? She asked. Rainbow once again shook her head as she remembered her blisters. I have an itchy rash and a blister on my vagina. Wah, 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 wah. Twilight cut in, her purple eyes widening at what Rainbow said. Your vagina, like your genitals? Rainbow Dash nodded slowly, hoping she was getting onto something. Twilight trotted back and stood in front of her friend. She narrowed her eyes and gazed directly at Rainbow's lips. Suddenly, a small smile began to form on Twilight's mouth, which made Rainbow Dash curious. And I see a giant blister on your lip hasn't gone away, Twilight sparkled sad. Her voice sounded a bit mischievous and slick, and now Rainbow was really confused. Had Twilight discovered what was wrong? Twilight lifted her head and spoke to Rainbow Dash. Dash, during that celebration party in Las Pegasus, most of us got a bit drunk, but you got really drunk. Do you remember anything what happened in the party while you were under the effects of the alcohol? Nope, Dash said calmly. All I remember before I got drunk is hanging out with Soren from the Wonderbolts. And then after I got drunk, I remember waking up in the hotel bed with a massive headache. The hangover. A light laugh escaped Twilight's lips. The princess had found it all out now. Twilight spread her wings and fluttered lightly back towards the entrance to the balcony. She levitated the door open with her horn. She looked at Dash and winked. Come inside, Dash. I think I have discovered just exactly what you have.